Good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, August the 12th, 2025. This is the CNI Committee. It's 11:30 a.m. Stevenson Administration Building, 1616 Richland Street, Columbia, room 201. There's a statement to be read pursuant to the Freedom of Information Act. All persons, organizations, and media outlets as requested have been notified of the date, time, place, and agenda of this meeting. We do have before us an agenda. We have two items that are both informational items, no executive session items. Dr. Walker, any items to be added or deleted to the agenda?
No.
All right, thank you. We do have with us today Commissioner Clyburn along with myself. Commissioner Clyburn, can I get a motion to go into open session?
I move that we go into open session.
Thank you. Second, it's been moved and properly second that we go to open session to discuss said agenda. Not going to point a question or discussion. Seeing none, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. So ordered. We are now in open session to discuss informational item 2.1, fiscal year 25-26 special revenue budgets presented by Ms. Bing.
Good morning. Project directors have developed 22 special revenue budgets for fiscal year 25-26. Those budgets are listed before you for a total of $45.1 million. This is an informational item.
Thank you, Ms. Bing. Ms. Clyburn, any questions?
Not at this time.
All right. I do have a few. Dr. Lindsey Brown, on the federal for the Title I, is that an increase or decrease from the last fiscal year? Do we know?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, Commissioner Superintendent Walker. We had a great year. We only had a decrease of about 111,000 less for last year. It was the previous year where we took the big hit of $1 million. Okay?
And so with the federal potential federal reductions, have we seen any decrease in our work stoppage or anything like that?
No, FY '26 is the final year that was under Congress with the Biden administration, so the funds were already set in place. Title I, Part A, which is the largest amount, we look good for this year, okay? It's the future that will be questionable.
All right.
Okay.
Very good. All right.
No hits.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Next, I did have questions regarding the, I should have wrote it down. Dr. Donellan at the Challenger Center. Remind us, these funds are to provide what services to the organization?
The special revenue funds are monies that we receive from visiting out-of-district schools and our summer camps. And so these funds are what we use to replenish summer school supplies and to buy supplies when we work with out-of-district schools.
Okay, very good. So these are not necessarily federal or state dollars? Is that
They are
correct?
not. They are not. It's just money we receive.
Just one, okay, very good. Thank you. All right, and then my other question, Ms. Bing, the state aid to classrooms, have we seen a decrease or increase in this dollar amount based off the state's budget?
This is a decrease.
Okay.
And that's based off of our enrollment status. So our private school data do populate our state aid to classroom funding annually.
And that is based off the 45-day count or the entire
This
year?
currently is based off 45-day count. They will update it at 45th and 135th, and those will go in effect every year.
Okay, very good. All right, and then just from previous budgets, we have rolled up several of those categories into this one to get this classroom, what is it?
State aid
State
class.
aid classroom.
Yes, in 2023,
Okay.
state funding changed, which
Right.
rolled several pots of money up into that state aid to classroom, which also makes it difficult to kind of project and break down where our funding is
Okay,
in those specific categories.
and so we don't have the per pupils cost that we used to have, is that?
Correct. That base student cost, we no longer have that in writing. Now, if you go to the Revenue and Fiscal Affairs website, they do have our audit that will give you an estimated of what they project based off our audit, a per pupil amount of what we're spending in revenue, in expenditures and what we're receiving in revenue.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. And then I'll go to Dr. Sturdivant regarding the reading coaches. So this is the reading coach. This is something that Richland One has put forth and the state has supported over the years, or vice
Yes, it's
versa?
required by the State Department. We are able to decide, they allow some flexibility if you want to use the reading coaches in secondary or elementary. Based on your data, we opt to support elementary schools. The only school that we don't support is Pendergrass Fairwall, and this is the levels, but primarily it's all elementary schools.
Okay. And this, well, I won't get into that. That's more strategic plan, but I'll run that by the superintendent first.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
And first of all, good morning to everybody that I didn't speak to earlier. So I do want to apologize. I'll pause now. Ms. Clyburn, you have any questions?
See if I can remember the questions that I had here. Let's see. One thing I do, the state to classroom, the teacher aid the classroom. What?
State aid the classroom.
State aid the classroom. Now, were there, I know there's been a decrease, so I assume we've been able to look at, any downfalls or challenges that we needed to, try to overcome or try to avoid. So have we been able to, ensure that we have everything we need? And, are there is there anything that we need to, put more attention into or?
As far as state aid the classroom and affecting our budget, we are doing our zero-based budget, so we are looking at our future revenue based off of that. We did intend for the decrease based off our Power School data that we have seen in the past. Is there something that we could do as a district as far as talk to our state legislators and push for a change in our state funding calculation?
Okay, thank you. The last thing I was reading. So for the reading coaches, yes, for the reading coaches. So it seems that it's more targeted. Right now, the attention and detail that's being put towards those efforts, I guess we're always wanting to do things systematically and to improve the outcomes in our, the readiness and all of that, with reading. So the targeted steps that have been taken, is this the plan that has been put in place to improve those outcomes in a more effective manner because we have limited resources, or at least resources are more limited than in previous?
Well, from the previous strategic plans that were written and what we've been working on primarily with early childhood elementary reading, we have a 20% decrease does not meet with our third grade. So that targeted work has yielded results this school year. So we've had the highest growth and proficiency rates this school year because of the work we've done with the strategic plan and how we've been very aligned in making sure those schools get the strategic support that they need. And additionally, Dr. Lynn supports middle schools as well and high schools. It's a differentiated need basis.
Okay. And I did notice, I know we're not doing, as much for the secondary because, we're trying to catch them early, I would assume. So what about the support that our secondary students might need? Are those resources still?
I'll let
there as
Dr.
well.
Hester talk about what they do.
Okay.
So at this time, there are no reading coaches in middle schools, which is an option, but we don't have that in place. However, we have a new reading intervention curriculum in both our middle school and high school. We self-designed it Prior, we had used some digital tools for intervention. We didn't quite see the bang for the buck. So we have minimized those. They've been cut by about 75% this year, and we've installed a new curriculum and a new series of district common formative assessment, specifically targeting students that demonstrate needs over the last 2 years as according to our STAR results and our SE Ready results. So there is something in place to support our students who are significantly struggling in reading all the way up through their senior year.
Okay, and then if we do, based upon the data, whatever those outcomes may yield, from the steps that have been taken now, is it possible, if there is a need for intervention or something of that nature, is it still possible to institute something on a case-by-case basis if that need arises?
Well, intervention occurs in every classroom.
Mhm.
So if a teacher sees a need to intervene with a student, regardless if it's a tier 2 or tier 3 intervention, that can occur in the classroom. And again, we do have the reading and in some of our schools, math intervention classes as well for the more significant kids. In terms of having a reading coach or instructional coach in place, at this point, that's not in the cards for middle schoolers.
But I would also add, I think, to the other part of your question, which is differentiating that support. I would say to you, we already look very carefully at differentiated needs of our schools and making sure we're meeting those needs that may be very different from school to school. We try to make sure we meet those needs based on the data and the qualitative information we have about that school.
Okay, thank you.
That it?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Dixon, regarding the IDEA funds that we received. So my question is, over the years, that number has fluctuated somewhat. Again, same question asked before. Do we see a decrease or increase in those dollar amounts to Richland 1 for this year?
Yes, good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Dr. Walker. Every year, we have seen a slight decrease when it comes to IDEA budget due to our child find, the number of students that we have qualified, and also those other factors as far as district enrollment. So there's always been a small decrease every year based on enrollment.
And do we also still serve those students that may not be enrolled in our schools?
We do serve private school students, those students who are located in Richland 1 in private schools. So we definitely do serve as a facilitated district for those private schools as well.
And then my next question is, those purchase services that come with the federal dollars, typically what are those purchase services that we provide?
So purchase services that we typically provide all relate to the student's IEP. When we're thinking about psychological services, OT, PT, speech, and now we are serving students with the deaf, hard of hearing interpreting services. So everything relates to IEP services and accommodations and modifications.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For that. Thank you. I want to talk a little bit about the demographic report that I've heard from Ms. Bean, now Ms. Dixon, and Mr. Grant. I know we're putting together the demographic report that's coming to us soon, and I don't want to get ahead of you and Dr. Walker, but at some point, do we anticipate doing that soon? Because I think that's going to be important to the work that we do to ensure that we increase, because there's a number of housing units coming up, and we're about to see an explosion of, those are my words, explosion of housing units in this, and I would say in our footprint. And so I guess my question is, do we anticipate our enrollment increasing? We knew in 2018, I think was the last demographic report that we had, 2018, 2019. Of course, COVID happened. We lost some young people. And now I think those parents are coming back to us, if you will. And then we're seeing some new families move into the area. So I guess my question is, not to get too far ahead, if you can't answer it, I understand. What does that demographic report look like going forward if you have the information?
So good morning. I don't want to get ahead of the demographers because they were actually just on site in Richland County last week, doing some of the things like pulling permits, building permits, talking with developers who are in charge of large neighborhoods. So they are still working through all of that, and I don't want to get ahead of them, but they are doing a complete demographic study. They're going to geocode the locations of all of our students so we know where they're at, what schools they're attending, because we do have school of choice, so that we'll be able to look at things a lot of different ways once they're finished. But they're in the middle of it now, so I think we would be getting ahead of it if we tried to project what that information would be.
Good deal. Thank you. So I do know that we said last school term, we would present something this school term. And again, I don't want to get ahead of Dr. Walker. I would encourage us to continue down that road. And we said August, September-ish, but sounds like we're just getting started. So I'm thinking maybe fall-ish into winter. And I don't want to go ahead,
So there are 3 phases to the facility condition assessment.
Okay.
Phase 1 was the physical assessment of each of our buildings. We have a draft report back. We have been given an opportunity to make corrections and comments, and that will be ready to be sent out probably in the next few weeks. We're setting up a meeting so Dr. Walker can get all the background information with the MGT Parsons, the group doing everything. The second part of this is the demography study, which is going on right now. And then phase 2 to the facility condition assessment begins the last week of August. And that is where the team will go into each building and they will meet with each principal to go through the usage of each building so that when they're looking at capacity versus usage, in some schools, a classroom is no longer used for a large group of students. It might be used for a speech therapist. So they want to account for the smaller number that they should assess to that room. Or a room may have been divided with cubicles to be used by 2 interventionists. They want to make sure that they are able to capture all of those numbers correctly. So they don't go into a school and say, hey, you have 50 classrooms, you should have 25 kids in each classroom, therefore you should serve this number of students. They want to be really accurate about the usage of the building. And then also our principals have been given their links to their facility assessment so that they can make any comments and make sure that we identify any issues that may not have been brought forth by the group as they came out.
Very good. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Blackburn.
Yes.
And I would just add there's a portion of that as well that goes into more of the demographics where you're looking at where are we expecting growth over the next 5 to 10 years.
Right.
The further you get away from like 3 years, those projections are less accurate typically. But that team will also be meeting with some of the city planners and others that are sort of already thinking about, because there's plans for growth in the city of Columbia and in the county. And so there will be a collaboration between our team that's doing that planning work, those folks that are doing planning work in the city and the county. And there will be a projection. Again, the further you get away from 3 to 5 years, it's less accurate, but that will be part of what we're able to present.
Awesome. That's good. That's good to hear. Thank you for that.
And Dr. Walker actually hit on what I was leaning towards. Even though you're not ready to report on those findings, it still stands to reason that we are going to experience growth, or we are currently experiencing growth, and the report will more than likely indicate that we are going to have a vast amount of growth. I mean, we already know that. Correct. I know you, so you don't want to even say that?
My eyes tell me when I'm in certain areas of the county that there are a lot of subdivisions and things being created. What I don't know for certain is if those are new people moving in, or if those are folks moving from one part of the county
Yes.
to another, or if those are families. And this is what they'll be able to do. They take a new build and they can develop a yield, which is the number of new students that would be expected from a new build. They can develop all of that. New builds in the city of Columbia are generally student housing. So we really have you'd see a ton of apartments going up, but they're not going to yield any students for us. But new subdivisions out in the county is where you'll see families moving into. They're able to project though where those students are, if they're moving from already being here or if they're new coming in. So No, I'm not going to answer without telling you what my eyes see, but I can't predict what they're going to tell us.
And there are typically two impacts. I mean, I think there's two parts of the question you're answering. One is, what is the impact on our student population going to be? The other one, it speaks to the economic revenue, and I think that is something that we can expect. And so, what we choose to do with additional revenue that's created from housing, that is going to be, that is going to be coming to us. I think those are conversations that we need to be thoughtful and planful about in the next 10 years.
Yeah. Gotcha. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Let's turn a little bit now to Mr. Dinkins and his team. On the industry certification, I know we've seen an increase of students taking the industry certifications. In general, have we seen, what percentage could you say we've seen an increase or decrease in certification to our students?
It's hard. Good afternoon, commissioners, and to our board and Dr. Walker. It's kind of hard to put a percentage on the number of students because we have different students moving in and out of the formula of students. It's not, the same group of students this year versus last year in terms of percentages because of the enrollments fluctuate in the upper level courses. Some courses are adding certifications that didn't have them last year. That was part of the reason why we had the increase from 24-25 over 23-24. We had some teachers getting more intentional about offering certifications in their spaces and in their programs. So that's kind of more of what we're driving to do, more certification options so that we have students who can have the stackable credentials and it doesn't become hey, I did this one and that works for me because, clearly we're trying to prepare students for career readiness beyond high school where they are entering into circles where they're competing against someone who may be 40 years old with 20 years of experience. So we want to try to give them every edge we can from their resume, and then rely on their experience so that they are really trainable and teachable.
All right. That was my one question. You have anything for Mr. Dinkins? While you're here?
Well, so to encourage in participation in the programs that we're currently offering, I'm concerned more about the outreach and the marketing that goes directly to students. We do what we call chat with the chair. And quite often, sometimes I hear students, and it may be them in, on cloud, whatever, not really paying attention to what the ongoing efforts are to inform them about, what we offer career-wise. But still, if a student is saying that they are not aware of something that the district is offering, to me, it's a concern. So I'm concerned more about, the outreach and what we're doing to empower the maybe the counselors or the administrative staff to make sure these students are aware of the opportunities that we have.
I share your concerns. We've been talking in the CT department about a model of communication that's more direct to consumer, if you will, to borrow from the sales and retail aspects. How do we get our message directly to students? And thank you to Ms. York's team. We've been all over the news trying to celebrate everything that we're doing in CTE and in the community so that we are trying the programs that are available in Trier on their campus, but also you're all available to go to Hayward and here's some other things that are there. Now, we have some other magnet programs that we'd have to, at least make some conversations about because those things require some planning. If you're looking at getting to a magnet program that's not in your feeder. So we want to make sure students are very, very aware, intentionally aware, not accidentally or by happenstance because you happen to get a flyer that was sent to your house, but they're intentionally aware by the system that these are the options that we have available here in Richland. So that is the direction that we're headed so that we don't allow students to fall between the cracks. They'd have to work real hard to get between the cracks.
Well, good. Okay.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Mr. Dinkins. I think that's right on track with where we want to go. As we're starting to look at high school redesign, and this is more of a longer runway to this, but part of what we need to think about is that high school shouldn't look like it did 30 years ago, or even 15 years ago necessarily. And so certainly we have some robust programming that's at Hayward. some programming that's out of Lower Richland that's related to career technical education. I think one of the things that we'll begin to shift to is look at what that programming looks like across the system in general at all of our high school sites. I think there will always be a need for a place like Hayward where we have a concentrated effort of those experiences for kids. But I think that what we're going to start to do is see more of a blended approach and an integrated approach as it relates to IB, AP, career technical pathways at all of our locations, and then specializing with some concentrated programming at places like Hayward and perhaps even a Lower Richland. So that's part of strategic planning that I think we're doing a lot of work already, and there's a lot of effectiveness that's in the system. But as we begin to plan out and think about what this looks like in the next 5 to 10 years in a strategic way, I think we'll be able to get some more depth to that, and we'll be able to look at what does that cascading effect and impact look like as you move from elementary to middle to high.
That's it. Good. Good.
No. So sometimes there are students that probably more than likely in the on the high school level that we find has an interest in a particular field, but it's not offered. I have a question more, I guess, based on the process of how a student or a group of students, I know we can't probably create a whole program on a campus for 1 or 2 students, but if there's a new group of students that has an interest that would hopefully grow, on that particular campus, how easy is the pipeline to, get something started? Like we didn't always have the ambulance service, at C.A. Johnson, but it started somewhere.
Well, and it's intentional. We offer those surveys for students, the long-term surveys down elementary school, so we can kind of get that projection. But for our students in middle and high, we're also figuring out where their interests are, fed by the individual graduation plans, fed by all of those things. So we talk about interest inventory assessments that we can offer to know if we're hitting students where they need. We also have those conversations available through the counselors to be able to get you aligned. If this is not a career pathway that we offer specifically in Richland One, what's something that can at least career adjacent, or at least kind of gets you prepped on the foundational skills for that particular program. So some of it is we try to have all of these things in place in broad measure, but then very specifically, students are able to talk to their counselor, or even we recommend that relationship where you can talk to your CTE teacher to say, hey, I want to do X. And they can point you in the right direction to get you started. And in terms of there's something that's completely not interested or not offered here, we have those conversations. We fortunately have a very listening body right here in this room that has responded to some of the needs and interests. So we, rely on community partnerships to say, hey, is this a viable opportunity for us to provide? Is it effective? Are we going to be able to place students in real life sustaining jobs beyond the graduation point? So we have a great system in terms to consider some of those options and some of the things that students present that, hey, here's something I'd like to do, but we don't have.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd love to add to that. Let's say you have a student who walks in their senior year and says, I want to be an archaeologist and I want a CTE class. Well, we're not going to be able to do that. The process takes funding and staffing and certification and industry training and all those types of things. It takes a while to build something like that. But we can, in fact, hook them up with local universities, local businesses in internships, sometimes paid, sometimes not, and we can get them work-based learning credits so they can become career ready through the WBL process. I happen to know of 2 students right now at high schools that are interning in some odd areas, but are going to get, one of them is getting WBL for ballet. She's working ballerina right now. She leaves school half a day. She goes and she works at a local dance studio, and she's going to walk out of high school. She's college ready as well, thank the Lord, but she's going to walk out career ready through WBL through ballet. We obviously, we offer plenty of dance classes, but we don't offer specific career development courses in the area of dance. So if we don't have something, we find a way to meet the need.
That sounds good. Thank you.
All right. I want to stay right here Dr. Walker, regarding scheduling of classes. Been here a long time. One of the things I've always heard over the years that scheduling of students with that are college ready in our schools, AP classes, cannot attend Hayward Career Center. That was one of the things I heard in the past. I'm not saying that's accurate or true. So I guess my question becomes, and you're new and you don't necessarily know all the nuances, and maybe somebody from the team can answer, how do we now align those classes, students who want to attend Hayward Career Center, who may take AP classes or may take IB classes or may take those advanced classes and also can attend Hayward Career Center?
That is absolutely not true.
Okay.
Nor has it been for the last couple of years. So we intentionally work with our high schools to ensure that they are scheduling in a manner that's flexible. Now, there are some one-off classes. I mean, I'm not going to, gloss over that.
Right.
For example, there may be one AP computer science class. And if the only place on that schedule is going to work for most children, once we do the Power Build and Power School, is second block.
Right.
And the kid wants a Hayward course that's maybe mechatronics, then they're going to have to choose between AP Computer Science or mechatronics.
Right.
I would go mechatronics, and then the counselor can work with the student to do AP Computer Science through SC Virtual.
Right.
So there are creative ways to fix those challenges. So there are some one-off classes where that could happen, but there's some intentionality about scheduling to ensure that our students can get the level of courses that they desire. Never going to be perfect, but there is definitely not consistent blockage to that.
That's good to hear. Again, that was something I heard in the past, and I'm glad to see that we're being intentional and aligning with the strategic plan to make sure students receive all options and opportunities for them as we prepare them for their future and their dreams and their potential. So that's good to hear. So thank you. I want to go back. I missed the MSAP grant with Dr. Turner. It goes back to, again, a federal question about the federal government. Can you give us a status update? I think we talked about it in April, May, where we were with the federal government as it pertains to grants to school districts and any updates you can provide for us.
Right. Well, Commissioner Devine, good morning, Commissioner. We have not gotten any additional updates. As far as we know, we are fully funded for year 4, which starts October 1st. Our federal years run October 1st through September 30th. So we'll start year 4, October 1st.
All right, very good.
Fully funded.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to double check on that. All right. You got anything else, Ms. Clyburn?
No, sir,
I
I
think
do
we've discussed that. Adult ed is adult ed. I understand that. So thank you all so much for that one item, 2.1. Anything else on 2.1 before we move on?
Nothing else, sir.
All right, thank you. We're now at item 2.2. Again, this is an information item, non-board approved contracts, $50,000 to $249,999 presented by Ms. Hodges.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Please see the attached report for purchase orders. There are 36 items there between $50,000 and $249,999.99. The period of July the 1st to July 31st, 2025. This is presented as information. Be glad to answer any questions.
All right, Ms. Clyburn, do you have any questions regarding this one item purchase orders?
I do not currently.
All right, this is just an information item. The board asked for this a couple of months ago, and I think it's working well for us to get this. And I really don't have any questions on this one item. I see the work is happening, which we appreciate and look forward to completion of these items. Do let me ask this question. Just because the purchase order has been issued, does that mean the work is completed?
No, sir. You have to have a purchase order before you can kick off any project.
Okay, very good. All right, that concludes, anything else?
No.
Anything else, Dr. Walker? All right, that concludes all of the items on our CNI committee. Thank you all so much for attending on today. Oh, Dr. Walker, you want to reintroduce your deputy of academics since it's our first meeting?
Sure. Certainly, we're blessed in Richland District 1 to have many outstanding employees, a great executive leadership team that I've been able to get introduced to and getting acquainted with. But we do have a new deputy superintendent, specifically focusing on academics, Kelly Rivers, who's with us today. Want to extend warm greetings to her. She joins a very capable team and looking forward to the deepening of our integration and cross-collaboration work. Ms. Rivers, want to say anything to the listening audience?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Kelly Rivers, excited to be here, excited to join the Richland One family. It's been an amazing start of a school year, just amazing group of people to work with. I look forward to the rest of the school year and also being a great support to Dr. Walker and to the district. Thank you.
Right, that's it. All right, sir. That again concludes all the items. Thank you and welcome aboard. Look forward to your continued leadership. And Dr. Walker, thank you for this meeting on today. And thank you to this team who are here with us today. It's refreshing to see everybody here, and it's been a while, so it's good to see everybody. And without objection, we now stand adjourned. Thank you all so much. Have a good day.